Hey, good morning. Jen and I are here to talk about all things TikTok, coffee, storytelling, email, pretty much all the things. I feel like it's Monday 2.0, and it really is 2.0. It's better than Monday 1.0. But I don't know about you, but it's like rainy and gloomy here, and I'm like,
oh my God, it was pouring just like 5 minutes ago, and now the sun came out. So.
I love that. Like when we lived in Colorado, that was the normal. It would be this beautiful sunny day, and then all of a sudden you'd look outside and it would be like black clouds. It was like pitch black out, like almost night, and it's raining, pouring, hailing. And then 20 minutes later you look outside again and it's clear and sunny. It's like, did I imagine that?
So strange. I mean, the other day it was like hailing in Dallas. Thankfully not here, but I saw a video of like North Texas on TikTok, and like the hail was breaking someone's windows and getting into the house. I was like, oh my God, that's so dangerous.
That's terrifying.
It is. Oh my goodness.
So that wasn't you though. That
wasn't me. I saw it as I was scrolling on my For You page, but I was just like, holy shit.
And you're in Austin, right?
I am.
Okay. I feel like we've talked about this like 6 times, and it's one of those things that's like, I don't know. I don't know which way is up. Well, it's so good to chat this morning. And you're obsessed with coffee too. I'm drinking tea, like as I mentioned.
Well, actually this morning I'm drinking orange juice, so it's a little different. But I do have coffee in the background as well. So.
I support this. I fully support this. And if you are listening now or on the replay, Jen's email is amazing. And like all of you, I think it's your coffee chat especially, but I think it's your email list too. There's always something in there about coffee and pulling up, and it's just like it warms my little Pacific Northwestern heart. Even though I'm in the Midwest. But yeah, I'm not drinking coffee this morning either, which is rare. I have this amazing Earl Grey tea that my friend sent me, and it's so creamy, and I don't know, it's perfect for the weather today.
I haven't had Earl Grey tea in a long time, but my brother is a huge fan, so he got me hooked on Earl Grey ice cream from Van Leeuwen. You have to try that. If you like Earl Grey tea, that is a good recommendation.
That sounds fascinating. Yeah. Is it like, I don't know the brand.
I don't even know where it's from. I totally forgot. But Van Leeuwen, I think they do a mix of just like dairy and non-dairy vegan ice cream. But their Earl Grey is like amazing because it's so weird to have it like as an ice cream versus a tea.
Yeah.
but it works.
That's fascinating. There was a gelato company in the town I used to live in that did like this honey lavender gelato. And he's like, I don't know why it's so popular. It's not traditional at all. And he's like, come on. Like the owner was fantastic. They moved to Arizona. So that's the only reason that they closed up shop. But I was just like, but it's so good. Can you bring it back?
It's like the weirdest combinations. I think there was a local ice cream shop near me that does raspberry chocolate chunk. And I'm like not a raspberry person. Like I'll eat the fruit, but I don't like raspberry flavored stuff. But I tried it and they were like, you have to. It's our most popular thing. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And they partner with like a local cocoa farm. So it's just like they have fresh like chocolate and it's just so delicious. And I'm like, okay, this is the only
I feel like we need to be dropping links to all of these and tagging the brands. Be like, by the way, we should do that. Will you help me come
free promo?
Yeah, let's do that afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, this has turned into like messaging more and like gone into foodie hour. So while we're on this my daughter's class put together a radish gift box for the 3K auction or for the school auction. And my kids saw me building it and they're like, so we want that. That's really cool. So we had to buy it at the auction too.
Oh, of course.
So anyway, all the recipes have been coming in and they're like, there's some that are like grilled cheese and tomato soup and cake. But there was one that was like chicken tikka masala tacos. And I was like, ooh, this isn't a kid's like recipe box. This isn't like, I would expect something like that from Blue Apron or some of these other food delivery services. And to be fair, these are the recipes alone, and then you go buy the ingredients and make them. But the last one had like beef shawarma tacos, and I'm like, oh, this is speaking to me on a deep
Well, you know, I wrote website copy for a chef once, and he was doing something that's totally different where, like, you know, the typical like children's classes is they do really basic stuff like pizza and, you know, stuff like that. But he was doing like full on, like full recipes. And it was interesting because, I mean, that attracted a lot of families because they're like, I don't want my kid to like, I don't want to pay money for my kid to learn how to like knead some dough and slap on like tomato sauce. I want something, you know, that they could be proud of. And so they were like, he's really fantastic in the fact that like he just teaches a bunch of kids around the world, like virtually, how to actually cook like a chef.
That's so cool. You should tag him in the comments here too. But yeah, like I think that's so cool because I mean, I did a lot of online classes during the pandemic, like not business classes. I did a lot of those too, but it was really fun, and I think that's such cool positioning. And see, we're bringing it back to the storytelling. But I love working with those kinds of brands that are just like that are doing something totally different. And I mean, the challenge is then positioning them because it's like there's so much education that has to happen around this is not this is that. But it's also so much fun.
It is. I feel like, I don't know, I just like how there's so many directions that you could go in when it comes to just positioning, and leaning into your unique story is obviously what sets you apart.
Right. Yeah. And then it's interesting. I'm working on a project right now, and I have to be careful of what I can name and what I can't, but it's interesting because the founders are really techie and they're engineering. And I just got off a call with the marketing team, and it's like, so we're trying to push the founders out of this like engineering, like super like methodical mindset to something more creative. And I'm like, oh, that means I can play more. This is, it's exciting because they're on board with taking it to this playful place.
Ooh, okay. That's exciting.
Now, I mean, I totally have to go back to the drawing board and overnight. but it's so worthwhile because it's so exciting. And I think that's like, I can say all of that, but yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait. When that launches, you'll have to like let us know so that we could take a look at how
I'll definitely let you know.
It gets.
I'm under some, anyway, yes, I will absolutely let you know. So what are you working on right now?
I'm working on a few things. I have a project we're just wrapping up brand messaging and then moving into web copy soon. So that is exciting. It's for a marketing agency that deals with that specializes in experiential production and fabrication and cultural relevancy, which is awesome. So that is exciting. I am also wrapping up a web copy project with an HR agency that deals with tech professionals. So
yeah,
there's that.
I made a lot of like really techie stuff lately, but it's fun because it's like you said, it's bringing life to it.
I really appreciate like how, you know, a lot of brands are recognizing that you have to kind of add a little more spice to your copy and not just stick to the traditional like formal way, and seeing how more and more companies are being open to the idea of play in their work. I mean, the extent of play kind of varies, of course, but just seeing that change is nice.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just limited to games. It's not just limited to toys.
Exactly.
It's like bringing play to grown-ups. Because I think, okay, and now here's this weird thing, like, you know, the soapbox. We've forgotten how to play, but it really is. Like, my kids are like, they'll turn anything into a game. And I'm like, really? Like,
I know.
So as a result, we're still trying to find my daughter's shoes that she threw into the hedge. And I don't know. I went out and I found one. And I'm like, oh.
I'm sure she moved on from it. She was just like, oh, it's gone.
She totally did. She was like, she came in and she's like, I'm making footprints. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh, you took off your shoes outside in the mud. Cool.
Lovely.
Cool. We just had the floors mopped.
They always like, I feel like that happens all the time when you do something and then like, for example, clean the floors, and then all of a sudden, like in a second, it's like messed up again. I'm like, what?
It's like laundry. You're wearing laundry.
Yes.
It's like a Seinfeld episode. Like, it's like laundry's the worst because as soon as you do it, there's more. There's no satisfaction. Like if the counters get cleaned and polished or whatever, like you can sort of maintain that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're wearing laundry.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Now I'm thinking about the fact that I'm wearing laundry.
Right. It didn't bother me so much till I was my kid. As you know, I have 2 kids. They're 4 and 8, but he will wear things because he wears a uniform to school, which is fantastic, by the way. But then he'll change clothes when he gets home so that he's not messing up his school clothes. He'll wear things for like 2 hours, 4 hours. And he's like, "Oh, it's dirty now." And I'm like, "It is not dirty." And he's like, "Well, I wiped my hands on it." And it's like, stop doing that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And my niece used to be like that, where like the moment something gets like a little dirty, she just has to change. And she would change maybe 5 times a day. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, and it's fine if you hang up your clothes again, but
Yeah.
I mean, even if you drape them over the treadmill or the bed.
That's true.
But no, yeah. Anyway, so you're working on the website copy projects, and you've been taking on this email challenge.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that? I'm like fascinated.
So I guess my love for story-based emails pretty much started when I got introduced to Daniel Throssell. And I know that is like not everyone's favorite person just because his character is very, not nice sometimes.
He's pretty bold and in your face.
Yes. But I think that's like it works. Like that's his character where he is just purely a jerk, and that is his angle. And it's not for everyone, which I'm in Jacob's email empire list building. I forgot the name of the course. List building on a budget. There we go. And he's launching different pieces of his email empire soon. So, but
get him on here. I always love my conversations with him.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
High energy, and it just he's so energizing. Like he's not an energy vampire at all. He's not someone who's
like, we were saying like I wish we could have like 1/10 of Jacob's energy.
I know. I absolutely love him. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's been a couple of months. I need to check in. Anyway, sorry, you're in his building on a budget.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what launched me into starting my email list and like restarting it, because I was like, you know what? I've been putting this off for a long time. I had it on my to-do list. And you know how obviously copywriters preach to our clients how it's important to have your email list. And I just I didn't have one. I didn't even have a welcome sequence. It was terrible. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had nothing. I only had a newsletter. So I just started emailing from there, and that kind of pushed me into doing daily emails. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I kind of took Jacob's like all or nothing mentality and just like throw myself in there. It's very hard, but it is rewarding because, once you get into the daily habit of writing, it gets easier. And then it also helps you kind of not prevent, but work through writer's block, which is great. But anyway, I'm really inspired by Daniel Throssell's way of writing email stories. And so if you read my emails, you probably see that it is heavily influenced by his like writing style in terms of like the headlines and having big font centered and all of that stuff. And I have also taken some of Daniel's courses. So that has also prompted me to kind of like really dig into the story element of things. And I am working on tweaking how I present stories and get better at doing that. But I just love the idea that you could share everyday things and then have a small segue to like something that's relevant.
Right. Yeah, and I like that too. That's how I like to write my emails. I am not doing them every day. And sometimes I do that. I try, I might call my marketing s'mores. Because I'm just like a dose of awesomeness. And then, so my next brand photo shoot's got to have something with like marshmallows and chocolate.
You should.
And like the ooey gooey. Okay, now I'm getting into the Sarah Ashman style, like brand photography.
Yes.
But
you'll have to have at least one.
which I need to, but I'm just getting around to doing my own stuff, like you said. I bought, did you meet Liz Wilcox when we were at,
Yes.
I bought her membership, and I don't know, it's $9 a month, and she comes up with email prompts.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's one a week, and it's been so helpful to get out of that. What do I write? What do I talk about?
Mm-hmm.
I can like go back and look, and I can do a couple in the future. Not that I have been doing working ahead. I have been in fly by the seat of my pants mode pretty much since mid-February, when I decided to launch Womp Womp again. Like I have not moved out of fly by the seat of my pants mode, and I would like to, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
My God, that phrase, like, it's so funny. I was on a client call yesterday and she said that phrase, like, it's fine, everything's fine. The house is just burning, but it's okay. We're all going to survive. And
at least it's warm in here.
Rather toasty. But yeah, I mean, having prompts is so like helpful, I think. And I mean, I tasked myself with a hard challenge where I don't have prompts necessarily, and I live write daily. So I don't write them in advance and schedule them. And that just forces me to get into the habit of writing. And it's so hard to kind of pick through like little moments and figure out like, is this story worthy? Should this go in an email? So it's rough.
No, but I think you can turn any moment into it. It's just a matter of figuring out like what it is. Like Friday, my internet went down like mid call, and the person was calling. She was calling from a car because she'd gotten the time and schedules, and then my cleaning people showed up early, and then the solar energy guy showed up early, and then the pest control guy showed up early, and it was just like. You can only play, and I think maybe that's what I'll write about this week.
You should.
Thank you for coaching me through that. By the way, that's a new thing that you can add. You can add like storytelling coach. Yeah, like you can plan so much, and then like life just sort of happens.
Yes. And I think that's the beauty of it. I mean, like when you pick an authentic moment that happens, like you can't really make it up. It is a story in itself, and you're just expanding on that.
When I think of it's the kind of thing that you could vent about to a friend on the phone.
Yes.
It's a story that you can write about.
That's true.
Like if you can, yeah, I think that's spot on. I don't even know. I was talking to a friend last night while we were in school pickup line. I don't even remember what we talked about, but any one of those things could be. And then I think that the benefit to that for people on your email list, but anyone's email list, if you can tell those authentic stories, they feel like they're knowing the real you.
Yes.
And not just they feel like, they are. It's like you're giving them little glimpses into.
Right. I think
it's bad and the ugly.
It's a great way to, build that personal connection, because as you're telling these stories that are happening to you, like you're painting this picture of essentially your life, I guess. And so people start to know you and feel like they know you. So I think creating that storyverse is important.
By the way, I'm still cracking up about your email yesterday where you're like, yeah, just stalk the hell out of Erin. It's fine.
Well, they should.
Well, right back at you. Yeah, I have to do some playing around and figure out how I can give people concrete links to share. Because otherwise.
Well, that's the mystery.
The mystery. Keep the mystery alive.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you can see me typing and looking over here. I have a list of like 6 things that we've talked about, and I'm like, we need to get their links because we need to tag them here. So you're talking about, so how can people get on your email list and get into this daily fabulousness?
Yes, I can drop yet another link.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so, or they could head to my website,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jouhco, it's too early for me, .com. And on the navigation, it's daily storytelling is a tab to go to.
Perfect. So we'll pop, oh, I think I can do this. I'm still learning the capabilities of this software. I got it during an AppSumo deal. Oh, cool. And there is a way that I can pop something up on the screen. I think, oh, here's how it is. I'm going to make a comment. Just kidding. I can't. Well, I used to be able to make a comment here. For some reason, I'm not able to comment anymore. So I'm not going to worry about that. I will make sure that the link to your website gets into this as we're going through tagging everyone. So we've covered so much ground, like from coffee and ice cream to chefs and food, Jacob, Liz, and Daniel, and all the emails. But we haven't talked about like what you do. Like what do you want to be known for? How would you like people to introduce you besides like this aspiring TikTok star?
So right now I am in the midst of kind of reevaluating what my exact title will be. And I think what I've stuck to so far has been personality-driven copywriter, and I added brand storyteller to it. Mm-hmm. So that is right now, like my focus has primarily been brand messaging and web copy, but my love for story-based emails has slowly risen to the top. So I might start going in that direction as well. So I'm in the middle of maybe a pivot. I don't know, which is scary because it's like, do I just, change down the path? But I guess the beauty of having your own business is being able to dictate, wherever you do go, and pivots are totally fine. It's just figuring out how to tackle it without like driving myself insane, I think is the key.
Well, I think like bite-sized things. I was on a podcast with Craig Severinson, and he was like, what's the center of what you do? And he's a really good interviewer. It was a live format, kind of like this, and I was like, I was a little stumped. But it was like we talked about how there's one thing that's the anchor. And for me, it's messaging, and all things kind of pivot off of that. And it's like the boat radiates around this one point, and that one point is messaging. And that's his analogy. That's not mine, the boat. Just give credit where credit's due. But what is that one? Is messaging and storytelling that one thing for you, do you think? Or is it personality? Because you're also an influencer.
I was. It's a past life. It's a past life. I think I want to say it's storytelling, just because that has been the main driving point since I was little, that like drew me into loving books and writing, and even just animatedly telling stories about like something that happened at school or whatever the case is. And that has translated. And I will give credit to Nicole Morton, who started saying that I am not a personality-driven copywriter, I'm a story-driven copywriter. And so that was an interesting idea. I'm still toying with it and seeing if that hits right for me. But I like that idea. Like, I think everything that is, that forms that connection with people is that it's stories, and at the end of the day. So I don't know if it's necessarily personality, but we'll see.
Well, I'm excited to see where you go. And everyone needs to get on Jenn's mailing list. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. You can go to Jouhco, right? I said that right?
.com.
Okay, cool. And I will pop all of that up here as well. But, lastly, before we leave off, what's the one thing you wish everyone knew? about either you, about marketing? What's something you wish everyone knew?
That's a hard question.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot. What's one of the biggest misconceptions that you think you face?
I think in general, copywriters, like we tend to be an afterthought, you know, like design takes the forefront just because the visuals are there and everything, and no one really understands that copy is what, like, design captivates, copy converts. I always like that phrase because you could have a really pretty website, but if your words aren't hitting correctly or you're not targeting the right thing, then you're not going to really get anywhere. You're going to lose people. And so I think just really the value of copywriting is probably what I notice is like an afterthought for the most cases. Like when people are building websites, they tend to go to a designer and they're like, okay, great. Do you have your copy? And they're like, what? You don't include that. And they're like, no, you have to go to a copywriter.
It's amazing how many people, and I don't know if you face this, they've come to me and they're like, I need copy, like
right now.
And that's what, I mean, do you do VIP experiences?
I used to, and then I stopped doing them because it was just getting a little out of hand in the fact that like people would opt for a VIP versus like a full project because they just needed something really quick and they wanted like a full-blown experience very quickly.
What's the difference between the yeah. And I have a couple of those. It's like a lot. I tend to work intensive style no matter what. Shh, don't tell, because I like, I get in the zone and I like to see it through. But yeah, I have a few. I do some VIP days for that very reason, because it's like you need it now.
Yeah.
Or maybe they already have a little bit of an idea. They need someone to talk through it. But I'm with you. I will still offer them. I don't do single days because unless it's a specific workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, here's the structure, here's a deliverable, and it doesn't require, not that it doesn't require creativity, but it's a different level of thought process than coming up with copy, because I don't trust myself to come up with that in 6 hours. And I like to have, and I walk out at like the end of the day and my head's pounding. And I'm like, this is not the way to live.
It's like very intensive.
So yeah, I'd rather do it over the course of 2 or 3 days. Crystal, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank on her last name. She has an amazing VIP day plan. I'll have to tag her. But anyway, she and I went through the Copywriter Club Accelerator together. And her structure is really cool because it's like you book a week. It's only a week. She only has one client a week.
Oh, I think a week sounds a lot more doable than like a day. Because I did a day before. I took the Unchained Copywriter by Allison Grower. And
yes,
I learned the day rate kind of structure from her. And I went with it. And it was so like intensive for my brain. I was like, I don't know if I could do this long term. So I ended up, pivoting and not having VIP days anymore. But it's a lot in a day.
It is a lot to do. Yeah. Yeah. The more I talk to other copywriters, I'm in awe of the people who can do it in a day and still function. But I just can't. And so I really like different ways of looking at it. So, well, we'll have to discuss more offline.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. This has been
Thank you for having me.
I always like talking with you. It's always so much fun.
Likewise.
Yeah, we'll talk offline too and get all the links set up and tag everyone. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, take care, and we'll see you in about 2 seconds.